Cletus here. So this will be part one of my 30-30 Plinking loads. I've gone through the load development previously a while ago and have a load that I settle on now. One of the biggest thing I'm trying to accomplish is something that's soft shooting, more than getting feet per second or anything like that. It's really about reduced recoil. My wife wouldn't even shoot the 30-30 with full loads because of her bad shoulder. She's had 2 surgeries. So that was my goal. And when I originally went through the load development, these are the 3 powders that I worked with. They all more or less work. The universal, I had settled on like 8 grains, and that got to 1474 feet per second, and it was like a 0.9 inch group. The Trail Boss, I settled on 9 grains, and that was like 1387 feet per second. And the tight group load was 5.6 grains, and that's down to 1236 feet per second. And I had shot like a 0.8 inch group. Those were all at 50 yards. And the bullet that we're working with is this little 130 grainer from Accurate. It's plain base. And so that I settled on the tight group load. I know, I get a lot of crap for, putting so little powder in a case, but it does work. If you use good loading practices, you're not going to end up with a double charge. I do that basically, once the cases are all flared and primed, they're inserted upside down in my reloading tray, and they don't get flipped over until I put powder in them. And then you can, look down and all, make sure they all have powder for, I seat and put a bullet on. So I'm not really concerned of double charge using that method. So anyway, I wanted to revisit this, and this time I'm taking out the universal, and I replaced it with unique. And this is what, I shot. The video footage was from about a week and a half ago when I went and shot this, and it was rainy. I'll get my 5-gallon bucket excuses out of the way. My glasses were fogging up on me left and right. I had my son with me. He was shooting the Ruger. We had put that brass catcher on the Ruger, and in order to do that, we had moved the red dot. And so all throughout the time I was shooting, I was having to, readjust my scope over to his target so I could tell him where bullets were hitting so that he could make, the red dot adjustments. So there was a lot of interruption in my shooting and a lot of movement of the gun, just a few inches or whatever, either way, just to get onto his target and then back onto my target. But it, wasn't the best conditions for load testing, and plus because of the rain I couldn't get any chronograph numbers, so all those ones I gave you before were from my previous test. So and the other issue is the last time I shot that gun was with the 5.6 tight group load, so I didn't have to zero. I started with that one and I didn't have to make any scope adjustments, so the first shot was Cold War. But so here we go. All right, that is the tight group load. I'm not really happy with that group. I know it can shoot better than that. I think that is like it's got to be around 2 inches. These 3 aren't bad. Usually, it's much smaller. It's about that size. So I don't know what the hell happened with those first 2. But I shot this even at 100 yards and have a group that looks better than that. So it was just not my day, I guess. let's see, and Tin Man, you can see that when you go to the range in the rain, I just use packing tape to laminate this, so to speak, just to keep my target dry. The only downside of that is I can't really write on it now. That's why I don't have the charges or anything written on there. This was the Trail Boss load, and I think that one I had measured out at 1.8. No. I think it's around 1.8 inch group. There's 2 shots here. That's about, and that's one of the reasons why I am not using Trail Boss, mainly because this is what all my Trail Boss groups look like. I never really had, I found a charge that grouped really well. And I tried it in 357, pretty much had the same problem. So, so far, I haven't had a whole lot of success with Trail Boss. Then, this group here in the middle was 8.5 grains of Unique. It's probably my best one. If you remove this guy, these 4 are a 0.73, which is pretty good. And I know while shooting this group here, I had to stop shooting for a while. He had an issue getting a magazine, wasn't loading all the way into the Ruger. So I stepped away from shooting for a good 5 minutes and came back right in the middle of that group. So this was with 9 grains of Unique. Wasn't all that good, and 9.5 grains of Unique. So anyway, I'm impressed with this one. I'm intrigued. I want to play more with Unique. So that's why there's going to be a part 2. I'm going to, basically, I think I want to do maybe, this was 8.5, maybe start at 8 and go from 8 to 10. And, ladder loads in between that range, and then also get some chronograph numbers and see. And who knows, maybe my Plinking load will switch from tight group to Unique. Although I got tons of tight group. Like this 4-pounder is not even opened. I'm still working on an 8-pounder that I got like a year and a half ago. So anyway, that's it for I guess part 1. We'll talk to you guys later.